I guess the main lesson now, what I'd say is that we need to work with Mother Nature instead of against her. That means that we have to set our prescriptions so we get the desired effect, but then it comes down to waiting and having patience for the right weather window. We need to wait for the right fuel moisture conditions. If it's too dry, we're going to have more fire than we would want. If the weather is unstable or windy or not appropriate in some way, we have to wait for an appropriate weather window. And generally, it's all about choosing the right area too. We can put in guards, whether they're constructed or wet lines or black lines. We have to have an anchor place for starting a fire. And that's one of the things that these thinned areas provide us. They provide us an anchor on the town side for burning denser forest outside. So you've got to find an area that has some anchors. And topography and changes in fuel types, water bodies, man-made features like roads or whatever, they can all come into play. So choosing your area, and then not just lighting the match, but it's where you light, how you ignite, the ignition pattern. And generally, you don't want to light the fire and have the wind take it away from you. You want to work with the wind. So the wind is pushing the initial fire towards a guarded area. You widen that strip, then you burn another strip, and it burns into the black, runs out of fuel. Yeah, there's circular ignition patterns. There's all kinds of things. But many things come into it, but really you're working with topography, fuel, and weather. So there's always uncertainty involved. You need to build in plan B and plan C and plan D. Yeah, it's you know, probably 5% of burns go beyond the expected boundary. In lots of cases, that's not an issue.
You plan for that probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a delicate process.
So, an average size, whatever that is, how long does it take? Can you do it in a day? Does it take a week? And you have to have people cruise over 24 hours?
So, questions about the size and the time frame. The size depends on our objectives and what was right for that ecosystem. Of course, we started small. We started our first prescribed burn that we did in Banff National Park in 1983. Was probably about the size of the area that we're standing in. It was pretty moist. If I remember, there was a light rain falling. We actually stacked some firewood under some of the trees so we would get a little bit of candling. And we had more equipment than you could shake a stick at. Were we nervous? Yeah. But gradually, you know, we've learned, and we do prescribed burns now that are planned at 1, 3, 5,000 hectares in size. And in lots of ways, it's easier to do a big one than a small one because you are working with those natural boundaries. It's better to fit with nature than fight it. So, and burns, most of them are a one-day event, although the laying in the guards and the preparations can take a long time, and waiting for the right conditions can take a lot of patience. But most burns are 1-2 day events, and you get a lot of fire activity right off the bat, and then it's a matter of stomping out the perimeter and letting the rest burn out.
Have you ever had one get out of control? Or?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all have our overachievements. It's part of the game. Then again, I've also had a few restoration projects that were dismal failures. Yeah, it happens.
How long do you have to wait for the area to cool down so you can go back and check?
Generally our fires were there full time. You wouldn't walk into an active area of fire, but certainly people are always around the perimeter, and generally as the fire moves away you can walk right into the fire. Most of the people gone with The average wildfire, even the ones we see on the 10 o'clock news, if you're in one stationary spot, they pass in about a minute and a half.
Yeah. They were
So
doing it
that's
through,
the danger.
the helicopters were running.
It all happens pretty fast.
Like the water bags.
Ironically, that's exactly how long it takes for the heat of a fire to open up the cone of the lodgepole pine and disperse the seeds.
That's why it was more
Go figure.
described the control the beetle.